The state of UK dentistry, police forced to intervene as hundreds queue as new NHS dentist opens in Bristol. And this was actually absolutely insane. So NHS basically means free, right? It's just a free dentist that you go to, and basically you pay your taxes. So you pay shit tons of money in taxes, and you get a shitty little dentist that costs like a fraction of what you paid. Right? That's the way the NHS works, and it's terrible. And there's huge waiting times and all that other stuff. But basically, a new NHS dentist opened, and the queue was like miles down the street. Miles and miles of people waiting to be seen. It was absolutely insane. Hundreds of people were spotted queuing outside a new dental practice with the hope of getting NHS dental care. The line formed outside of the former Bupa Dental Care site, now renamed St Paul's Dental Practice, yesterday morning in Bristol. The new provider, SGA Services Limited, was appointed to take over the dental surgery last year after Bupa Dental Care closed in June. Bupa are private dental care. It comes as North Bristol NHS Trust saw 235 patients enter their emergency department with dental abscesses and 55 as a result of tooth decay. Now, look at that queue. Look at that bloody queue, man. All the way down here. Jesus. And by the way, it goes even further. There's a video, which I don't know if it's in the article, of a guy just walking with his phone down the entire queue, and it's just massive. Right, and this is the problem with what happens. Basically, the NHS's budget and their facilities are all dictated by the amount of money that's paid into the pot and the amount of people they predict will be using their service, which is you pay for with your taxes throughout your life. So when you have a bunch of new people that have come into the country who are going to be in desperate need of these services because they don't have them back home and they've never paid into this pot in their entire lives, well, then you get this. You get the fact that it's almost impossible. I've went fully private for like all healthcare. Fully private. One thing that I did, which I haven't experienced in a long time, this was like years ago, and as soon as I experienced this, I was sold. I had a problem, and I was trying to argue to get an appointment with my GP, which you have to do now. You have to argue to get a fucking appointment. I just hung up. I went, I'm not arguing with some receptionist that has no medical experience fucking whatsoever, trying to say, it's probably not this, blah, blah, blah. And then I just went, you know what, fuck this, I'm going private. I had an appointment next day. Went private next day, had an appointment. And it turned out the thing that was wrong with me was what I thought, so thank fuck that I went. I had some fucking receptionist trying to diagnose my fucking problem who didn't go to medical school. She fucking answered a job ad on Indeed. Right, that's the extent of her capabilities, and I've got her trying to tell me, you're fine. Well, it turns out I wasn't fucking fine. And good thing I went to the fucking private clinic. Local resident Maria, who queued from 8:30 a.m, told Bristol Live, the dentist has been closed for some time. I couldn't get into any of the other dentists. The appointments were fully booked. The waiting lists were too long. I'm also a carer, although I'm nearly 80, and I think it's important to keep up with good healthcare. It's disgusting that it was closed in the first place. I don't know why they did it. One of my neighbours, she's facing an operation for cancer tomorrow. She'll be somewhere in the queue. She's also disabled and can't stand for very long, but she's had no choice but to stand. She added that she thought it was not acceptable that local residents were now having to queue outside the practice. Green Party co-leader and Clifton Down councillor Kalia Denner said the queue for the new Bristol NHS dentist is a story of both hope, it opened at last, well done to campaigners, and the brokenness of the NHS. Why is the NHS broken? No reason, just whatever reasons suit our interest. Not enough funding, we're not getting enough money. And why not? Where'd all the money go? Or is there not enough money to actually let the NHS function? Well, why is that? These were all calculated and projected decades ahead of time. Why is it? Oh, not immigration, never immigration. It will never have anything to do with the amount of people using it. That's one thing that they will never blame. They will never, ever blame the amount of people using the service. It's always funding. It's always the Tories, damn Tories, even though the Tories started the NHS in the first place. We're here because savage government cuts mean contracts for NHS dentists do not cover the cost of care. It doesn't have to be this way. Shadow Minister for Primary Care and Public Health, Preet Kaur Gill MP, said 99% of dentists across the southwest aren't accepting any new adult patients. Labour has a plan to rescue NHS dentistry, 700,000 extra urgent appointments, targeted recruitment to areas most in need, and targeted toothbrushing scheme for 3 to 5 year olds. Who's not brushing their children's teeth? Like, I've got a toddler, and I'm just like a fucking tough shit. Like, you're getting your teeth brushed. I don't like it. I don't care. I brush your fucking teeth. This isn't a debate. An analysis of dentistry in England by the Labour Party at the end of last year revealed that 4/5, I think that's meant to be 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 surgeries were not accepting new adults. A report by the Academy of Medical Sciences revealed a quarter of children have tooth decay by age 5. Well, then brush your children's teeth and stop giving them so many sweeties. Right. In regards to this is just an example of the system failing. Basically, they're like, oh, there wasn't a dentist in the area. Well, then, Jesus Christ, why fucking not? Right, and the fact that the queue is all the way around. Why are dentists not opening? Is there no money in it? Because, I think there is. My dentist made a lot of money from me. And it's not the fact that my teeth are straight. It's because this side of my mouth is all fucked. And it's all fully fake teeth that all keep coming apart and breaking because I was hit in the face very, very, very hard with a bucky bottle a long time ago in Kelvin Grove Park. And it shattered all my teeth. And so all my teeth down there are buggered. So I have to go to the dentist a lot. Also, I smoke heavily, so that doesn't really help either. But what was the point I was going to make? But yeah, I pay a lot of money to the dentist, so there's money in it. Trust me, there's fucking money in dentistry. But with the NHS, it's a case of, like, it's paid for publicly. I say paid for. The public pay for it with their taxes. But it's just not that lucrative. I'll probably talk to my dentist and actually ask him, like, what's the script and all that. Because me and him, he knows who I am and everything like that, and we chat about it usually. Well, he talks to me about it while I'm sitting there like, like that. So it's pretty much that. But still, this is just an example of the system starting to fail, which is one thing. I realise this is an awful thing to hope for, but I've been praying for it. I knew, see how, one thing that I say all the time, like, this isn't my statement, I stole it from somewhere, right? But welfare state, open borders. You have to pick one. You cannot have both. You cannot have both. It is impossible to have both because when you have both, eventually the money's going to dry the fuck up and the whole system's going to collapse. And that is what is happening right now. Right, which is why you're getting a dentist opening and you're getting a queue hundreds and hundreds of people long that's going all the way down the street and round the block and everything like that. That's the problem that you're getting now. Because these places cannot cope. There isn't enough to go around because of all the new fucking people, right? And it's also because there's a lot of things affecting everybody's health as well, like microplastics, falling sperm counts, increased rates of cancer from highly overprocessed food. There's millions of other things. There's lots of things that are having drastic effects on everybody's health, especially after everybody was told to stay in the house and do absolutely nothing for 2 years. Everyone got fat. Everyone got fatter because of that. Even me. Right, well, was already fat, but I got fatter. I'm working out more. But, this is just the system starting to fail. It's going to be, by the way, prepare accordingly. It's a case of, it takes like fucking 2 months to get an appointment at your GP. There's going to come a time where you won't be able to get an appointment at a GP. That time will come. You will not be able to get an appointment with a GP. Right? There might not even be anyone to staff emergency rooms or anything. Hospitals, it's going to come a point where it might just be run by untrained volunteers. Right? That might sound like a bit of boogeymanery or something like that, but I'm telling you, there is going to come a time where that might happen, right? The system is starting to fail. There are so many people coming into this country, and the social services that were built for people aren't going to be able to cope with that heavy load, right? No matter how much funding you throw at it. So all I'm saying is prepare accordingly.